Welcome back everyone to another quant update. We can see that it bounced off my support, which was 96 to 106. And we can also see that the 200 EMA here on the daily time frame acted as support in the end. So my expectation in the past update was that it eventually push through the 106, hold that as support, hold this area support, and then pump into this mid-range. So I'm going to remove that now. As we have the bounce, I can actually place some new set of fibs. It's giving me some shorter term resistances, that stand in the way of Quant. So currently at $112, $113, we can see that there is a key level of resistance. I'll change this to red as well. And then of course this box as well, 120 to 125. Break 112, and then we will pump like a magnet is pulling us into this area. So once that level is broken, 112, 113, that's my expectation. A pullback from here can of course happen. We can pull back right now. So going forward, maintain the $96 level, which is the 200 daily EMA. I'm going to draw some further short-term supports. So yeah, $100 psychological level, or 101, let's just use 101 over here. You can see in the past as well. It was resistance, support, support, multiple bounces is given. So we actually had a breakdown, and that was to actually lose the 100 EMA and tap the 200 EMA. That then gave a bounce. We could have tapped this as resistance and continued lower. We can see there are further supports lower for Quant. 81, 84 would be next, but you'd be losing the uptrend on the daily time frame. So it would be considered very undervalued under this white line if it were to do so, because this is what the longer term trend is. We're talking about what to expect over the coming months. So when you are above the 200 EMA, the expectation is that we actually see bullish trend continuation. And in this case, because we've now bounced from the 200 EMA, as we are holding it as support, the expectation is a new higher high. So above $172 eventually, off of this bounce. So you can DCA knowing that. DCA is recommended over going big. But of course, if it was up here, you would say, oh, I wish I went bigger down there, obviously. We just don't know if this is truly the bottom. There are, of course, the signals there right now to say it is, but it is all dependent on Bitcoin. Hopefully you've checked out the Bitcoin update from today on the channel. I also made a video on Sui, heading over to Phantom. But yeah, check out that Bitcoin update, because Bitcoin needs to break a certain key level, and if it holds it as resistance, Quant could just be dead cat bouncing right now. Now, it wouldn't just be Quant, that would be the whole market dead cat bouncing for continuation lower, and then you would see a trend change. What we need to see is Bitcoin breaking the current local high or the all-time high. And then that's when we see Quant breaking out of this range, heading back over to the highs over here. If I were to place a fib from that high to this low, we can see 150 to 170, this $20 range is a key level of resistance. So expected to struggle at that area, but in the end, pushing through. And then if you've been following the last few Quant updates, you'd know the end result is to get back to that high that we put in November 2022, a good few years ago now. In fact, if you remember following my updates, I called the bottom down over here on the higher low at $50. Once it got up there at 200, I was calling for everyone to move out and then DCAing back over here. It eventually went lower. I did have some targets down over there, but Quant has gotten back to its fair value, let's just say $100. It's been there for years now. And hopefully this time it's actually using it as support. We don't want another fake out where this move up is fake, as currently this is the key level of support to set us up for the move to $200. It's vital for this to hold. We're losing the uptrend if we're losing all the moving averages. So right now with this reaction, the last couple of days, We've now had an attempt today at breaking through all moving averages after testing the final one. So all the signs are there. As long as Bitcoin can continue, guys, please understand the bias is all dependent on Bitcoin. Doesn't matter what the altcoin chart looks like, how well or bad it's doing, it will turn around dependent on what Bitcoin wants to do. And so yeah, make sure you're doing your TA on Bitcoin as well as Quant. You can also open up some charts like these, Quant BTC, and of course that's been in a downtrend for some time since Quant's stayed at $100 for such a long time, while Bitcoin was obviously outperforming it, so it makes sense. But there's an attempt to turn this trend around, and I would need to see Quant pretty much reversing exactly where it's reversing from. So I will also draw some upcoming resistances. Make sure, if you haven't already, to support the channel. I know that most of you here are subscribed, but if you could like or comment, that'd be much appreciated. Placing this fib over here, we can see some upcoming resistances in and around this area. If it's of course valued against BTC, so it's not going to show in dollars. But this is that same area on the quant chart, around $120. So this chart is also setting up a move to the Quant BTC chart is suggesting we should see a move up into that resistance. That is $120 on the USD chart. So yeah, nice confluence there. And then breaking through this doesn't mean it's completely in the clear for continuation higher. There will still be upcoming resistances higher. We can see in this area over here. And then of course the high. So I think that was between $150 and $170. It's very important to break through that. Once we see Quant making that higher high on the dollar chart, then it should also on this Quant BTC chart. So that would completely change the trend, meaning that altcoins are now outperforming Bitcoin. I know Quant specifically, but in general, if Quant is doing so, then I guess the rest of the market would be doing so as well. Equally, like at the moment, if it ends up being a dead cat bounce and we roll over to new lows, it's not Quant's fault. It's not just Quant. It just means if this chart is going down, Bitcoin is holding up better, or Bitcoin's performing better in most cases, not all, but in most. That means that everything's going down, but Bitcoin being the biggest holds up the best. Heading back to just finally summarize it all, hold 96k and 106k as support, and we must see Quant breaking 112k. On the break of 112k, we get pulled like Quant will get pulled like a magnet to 120 and 124. This is an important level of resistance that could send Quant lower than where we just bounced from, changing the trend into a bearish trend. We don't want to see that happen. So 96 to 106 needs to hold as support. If we ever want to see 125 broken, that would send us up to 150 to 170. This is the key level of resistance. Ultimately, I think if that's broken, then we'll also see the breakout on the Quant BTC chart. And then, of course, that's also a wider signal that we're starting to see an altcoin season, thank God. And yeah, that means we should see higher prices in the end, $200, breaking that $220 high from November 2022 would then suggest a new a targeted new all-time high above $430 on this specific chart. That's it from me today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you want further updates and TA from me on a daily basis, group live streams where I'll teach you how to read the charts exactly like me using the fibs, check out the Discord community. The links are down below in the pinned comment section. Cheers.